What's up, guys? We got the notepad today, which means that it's serious. So first off, we've got a couple of announcements. The first announcement is Blade Show 2025, June 6th through the 8th. I'll be there all 3 days. I'll actually be there 4 days. I'll be there a day early to see everybody who supposedly camps outside in front to get in first, which is insane even to me. I've got to see with my own eyes to see if it's real. Anyway, we'll be there all 3 days, so if any of you are planning on attending and want to meet up, let me know. Now, I've thought about this a lot, how exactly to let me know. The best way that I think that we can do this is kind of the way that I did it last year, was through Instagram. I apologize, but there's just no other way to do it without putting my phone number out on the internet publicly, which I thought about a lot and come to the realization that that's probably a really bad idea. Anyway, I think Instagram messaging is the best way to meet up with people. So if you're at Blade Show and walking around, say, hey, I'd like to meet up with Alex and, talk about knives or whatever, let me know on Instagram messaging. Now, the problem is that the internet in the facility there is spotty at best. And this is the same problem we ran into last year. I was having trouble accessing Instagram messages because there was no internet. I've got 2 legs this time. I'm not going to be on crutches, knock on wood, and we'll be able to travel a lot easier this year. So let me tell you, walking around the Atlanta Convention Center on crutches is not fun for 3 days. If you haven't attended Blade Show in the past, I highly recommend attending. It is a very relaxed, fun atmosphere. It's like a giant party. This is not like a gun show. Gun shows are weird. I've been to many of them. They're just weird. They've got a weird atmosphere. I don't know what it is, but this is not like that. This is a much more relaxed, fun environment, and everybody there has a smile on their face and actually seems like they want to be there. So again, it's not like a gun show. It's a giant Super Bowl party, if you will, for the knife world. And that's, I think, how everybody views it. And also, I would definitely recommend staying afterwards and head down to the pit afterwards. That is at the hotel. It's a giant, massive area where everybody congregates after the show at the hotel attached to the Atlanta Convention Center. It's very easy to find and easy to get to. You literally walk through a little mall area and you're there. Anyway, that will be fun and I hope to see you there. Next, we've got a couple of steel announcements. Now, I am not going to go over all of the cool things about each one of these steels. I'm simply going to announce them. These are brand new. This is brand new, fresh off the press as of a couple days to a couple of weeks. Now, I will leave a link to a channel below called Erica's EDC. She actually has some real life versions of knives in both of these new steel releases that she's been testing. If you're interested in more about these steels and their properties and how they work and so on and so forth in a real life testing environment, go check out her channel, which I'll link below. So the first steel we've got is a steel from, again, Dr. Laren Thomas, called Magnamax. Now, this is not a replacement for MagnaCut. It's an addition to MagnaCut. Essentially, it is a higher wear-resistant version of MagnaCut. They're comparing it as a stainless version of K390 or 15V, which is really big. Also, similar edge retention to S110V, but double the toughness. So this is a pretty serious steel release here from Dr. Laren Thomas. Very exciting. But this also brings up some questions, which I'll get to in a second. Next steel we have here is called Pops Procut. This is a collaboration steel between Pops Knife Supply and Dr. Laren Thomas. It is a high carbon steel. It is a very forgiving heat treatment. Very excited about that. Very high hardness, 67.5 HRC. I've seen some makers who have been testing this steel are getting insane hardness numbers from a high carbon steel. Absolute insanity. We have the general overall marketing jargon of balance of toughness and wear resistance, all that stuff. We'll see. It's almost too good to be true. I'm telling you, but I'm trusting some of the things that I'm seeing on this, and it's insane. This is also designed as an alternative to 15 and 20 for Damascus production. So now the entire Damascus world is going to be turned upside down with the introduction of this steel, because we have a very high performance, high carbon steel being introduced that can be used very easily for higher performance Damascus as a 15N20 replacement. So what does this mean? It means that both of these steel releases, and one thing I wanted to mention is that we are receiving reports of very forgiving heat treating processes with Pops Procut. We have very wide temperature ranges for Alstonizing and tempering without any of the negative effects that some of the other steels suffer from, and still get those insanely high hardness numbers, fine grain, etc. Very exciting stuff. Very excited about this one in particular. We will see. Once these steels hit the market, I think that we're going to start to see where they fit in terms of the overall knife industry. Where does Magnamax fit? What kind of knives are going to be great for Magnamax? Is it an outdoor survival steel? We just don't know yet, right? So the question that I have with the introduction of these two steels is, I see that these two steels are replacing an awful lot of other steels that are already on the market. I mean, maybe there's not a need for 1084, 1095, 01, 80 CRV2, 15N20. Maybe Magnamax. Maybe there's not a need for K390 anymore. If we can get if we have a version of steel that has all the same properties of K390, only stainless, what's the use of K390? So what's going on? Are we entering a stage where we're optimizing things to a point where we're only going to be left with a handful of options for knife steel, and anything outside these handful of options is simply going to be subpar? What I mean by that is we've got such an overlap in properties here from so many great steels in the 5 or 6 general areas of knife categories that if you aren't picking one of these steels for your knife, then you are getting either less for your money or you're simply getting less performance, period. There would be no reason to pick any other steel other than these 5 or 6 steels. And maybe we'll do a dedicated video on this, maybe highlighting some of the properties of each of these steels and the categories that they relate to. But yeah, I mean, as we're optimizing knife steels, as these more knife-specific steels come to market, are we going to see less steels in general in the knife world? So I think that that's something interesting to think about. I think it's exciting that we are seeing knife-optimized steels hit the market, but at the same time, is that giving us less choice, and is our choice becoming more boring? Yeah, I can see a world where in one day, maybe we will only have 5 or 6 knife steels that overlap enough in their characteristics that there's just no need for any other type of steel. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. I think it's kind of an interesting thing to think about because all these steels are very innovative, but at the same time, they could make the knife world very boring. Just my thought. What are we going to argue about? If we're not arguing about knife steels, what do we have left? Geometry? We know how boring that is. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if we don't see you in the next video, we'll see you at Blade Show. See you then.